We just want to get right into it. I'd introduced them earlier, but now we have, of course, others joining us, and this is Senator Okongo Mugini, Senior Counsel, and also the Senator of Nyamira County. We have also Dr. Danson Mungatana, the Senator of Tana River, and as well, we continue with the conversation with also Karoli Omondi, who is the Secretary General of Azimio La Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party, also Member of Parliament, Suba South, and also the spokesperson of Linda Mwananchi. Gentlemen, thank you. Thank you so much, and we want just to continue with the conversation. Right, a big day today has been, as you maybe have been doggedly following what has been happening on the television. Earlier, we'd actually just teased out that particular conversation with Karoli Omondi regarding the new vision of the country. And it harks back to 2007. Right, where we also had Vision 2030 being born, and now that will be coming to, of course, an end, the fruition of it in the 2030, and that's why we have a new vision casting of Vision 2060 that, of course, today it was being unveiled for public engagement, participatory, of course, consultative forums that will be happening in the 47 counties. Let me just go back to you, of course, Karoli Omondi. Harking back to 2007, a germinal idea that you are involved with the National Economic and Social Council. What do you think is diametrically different with this new vision? Maybe if you're intimately familiar, of course, with even the executive summary that we saw being unveiled 2 weeks ago.
Thank you very much, Dibal. I think the clearest point of difference is that the preparation process for Vision 2030 was more participatory and I think more extensive. There were elements of external expertise. I think you had firms like McKinsey, but you also had local experts working on it. I think, and the preparation process was more public than this other one.
Yes.
Of course, there are very eminent people behind this Vision 2060. Professor Hiroyuki Hino, who was the Prime Minister's economic advisor during the period you are mentioning.
Okay.
Professor Anyang' Nyong'o, Karuti Kanyinga worked with us in Agenda 4 from Serena. So they are very eminent people. But I think from the time they were asked to do this to now, and the number of the panel, and the fact that this was largely warehoused in the office of the president, I think under the head of public service, I think limited the scope of public interaction with them in this process. So I think the main difference was that the preparation of Vision 2030 was more participatory in my view.
But I thought today was actually now the launching of, the participatory engagement across the 47 counties. So then was just maybe vision cast that inform the public that is coming, and today the national conversations begins today. So this is the engagement that maybe you're really talking about. That.
So what did they give us today? What did they give us today?
Of course, they opened the platform.
Yes.
Right. We have conversations beginning there, different sectors which were being interrogated. We had also Hino really talking about where they began in 2007, as you've mentioned, moving forward, and this will be replicated across the country. So what do they have? He was raising critical questions as I listened to him as well, that for us also to get there, he says that we at least need to grow the economy 10%, that is a 10% annual growth for the next 35 years, just to maybe quote him, he says 10% growth challenge. The speech argues, from what I heard, that Kenya will need more than 10% annual growth in income per person for the next 35 years to reach Singapore's current income level. Do you think that is an ambitious dream? Yeah,
no, he's actually right, and that is not new. That was the target when Tom Mboya released sessional paper number 10 in 1965.
Yes.
And we achieved that for quite a period of time, in 60s up to I think 74 when we had the oil shocks. So that has always been the target. But you see, for me, the first thing that should have happened would have been a critical audit of Vision 2030. I don't know whether they did an audit. They've not shared that with us. If they did, they should have told us what was achieved, what were the challenges, what went wrong, what should be reformed. It is not just that we create a new vision. I think we should build on what we had. And for all these development plans, I always have a simple question. How many people are uplifted from poverty during that period? That's a fundamental question that I think should have been answered. That between the time we launched Vision 2030 to now,
yes, how
many people have come out of poverty? That is a good measure of success. The other ratios are also good, but that's the most fundamental question. How many of our people have we taken out of poverty? And then surely the country should have been given a proper perspective on an audit of what Vision 2030 achieved, failed to achieve, and why, so that we learn from there.
But I thought those, of course, audited, they come through the MTPs, right? The medium-term plans that we've had, the term 1, term 2, term 3, was it 4 of them? And the medium-term plan 4.
Yeah.
So do they give the audit of where actually coming? This is so far where we are at. If maybe you have cared also to maybe interrogate this.
You know, there's Vision 2030, then there are economic plans that are short-term in nature, that come within financial years or 5-year rotations. So those are very different from Vision 2030, yeah.
All right.
Which are more long-term, yeah.
Okay. Hardy, welcome to Senior Counsel Okongo Mogeni. Good to see you. Right, so you've been keeping your eyes peeled also on what was happening today. None of you, I think, Mungatano, were you at the event today?
No, I didn't go.
You didn't go? Yeah. They extended an invitation to the opposition, and this is what also I was challenging Karoli here to actually be part and parcel of this unveiling of the conversation. You didn't go yourself?
I don't think I received any invitation.
Yeah, there was no invitation to the Senate.
Yeah. Good evening, first of all. Nice to be on the show.
Let me ask you.
For the record,
yes.
Let this be very clear. For the record, first on my part, I think I first heard about Vision 2060 from Rigathi Gachagua. So it's something that has been shrouded in a lot of secrecy. About today's event, I want to confirm that no invitation was extended to me as a senator of Nyamira. So I also learned, just like you, that there was an event at KICC. I didn't know who were the participants. I just followed it on news that the president was launching. I don't know whether it is kicking off public participation. So I think whoever came up with that idea must have, it's just a reflection of the way we know President Ruto. You know, President Ruto is a know-it-all person. I don't think he will give technocrats a free hand to run with that 2060 vision, because you have, when you speak to many people who work for him,
yes,
including independent commissions, they will tell you that Ruto's leadership is that of micromanaging. That is his approach to leadership. But it's a good thing to dream to transform a country, the BAL. But it's always good to ask ourselves, are we on the right track? Because if you are a leader today, you should also tell us where you're going to take us, or where your presidency has taken us to. And when I was just looking at that summary, when you are talking about improving institutions of governance,
yes,
what is ailing those institutions? It's because of interference from the executive. I sit in the CIPA committee of Senate, and there is a time we had a sitting with the EACC, and Bishop Oginde told us, you know, we do a very good job. We forward files to Office of DPP, they approve prosecution, but then somewhere in between, they call back and say, you know, we have received instructions to discontinue this case. And when you're doing that, there's no way you're going to achieve this vision we are being told here of having institutions that can enhance our good governance. I had my friend Karoli speak about it's good to compare Kenya with Singapore, but what really are the fundamentals here? If you look at the governance of Kenya and Singapore, it's world apart. I think corruption index places them at 3rd in the world, while Kenya is 130. Okay, the environment for people to come and invest, do business, is more attractive in Singapore than it is here. You know, if you look at the road that is on tarmac, bitumen standard, it's 100%. So anybody coming to do business knows that the infrastructure there is supportive of anybody coming to do business. Here, I think we are at, is it 15% of the total road network in the whole country. The rest is not to bitumen standard. And then this issue we have been talking about, taxation, because I believe taking this country to where we want to go is not just about coming up with a document and you say 2060. You need to do a personal introspection and ask yourself, where have I taken this country on the wrong direction? Our taxation is repulsive. It doesn't attract investors because our VAT is higher than many countries in the world. That Singapore, their VAT is, I think, 9%. Ours is at 16%. That one, of course, makes it very unattractive to do business. Their corporate tax in Singapore is 17. Here, it's 30. Okay? So how are you going to attract somebody doing business in Singapore to come to your country when, if you go to internet, you will just see that this is one of the most corrupt countries in the world. You will know that it will not be easy to do business in the best way, you know. Right. That is where everything is working. That in terms of you not spending more money to do business in the ordinary sense of doing business. So me, I'll begin by saying, let us have a candid discussion and say that our leadership, the current leadership, has failed us, especially on governance issues. The current regime has not gotten it right on taxation. You know, the president had made very good promises that he will not allow Kenyans to be overtaxed. But we are choking under very heavy taxation, you know. And we also need to, even when I saw them say they want, to ensure that this country has good housing. How those countries that have succeeded, what model have they used? All right. You pick, if I conclude, pick the country with the happiest people in the world, Finland. How is their housing? The housing takes the model that is in this constitution. You know, our constitution, housing is devolved. It is our counties that should be doing housing basically for renting, okay? Anybody who comes here, you have employees, they can afford to rent those houses. If you want Kenyans to purchase those houses, you look at their income and ask yourself, is this population capable of buying these houses so that I remove them out of poverty? What is our index? If you look at the World Bank index on extreme poverty, 46% of Kenyans are in that band of extreme poverty, earning less than $3 a day. Now, will this person be able to purchase a house and be on a mortgage scheme? Because the government's approach here is to say you are building homes for Kenyans to buy. But statistics, and these are World Bank statistics, not homogeneously created, is telling you that 46% of your population will not be able to buy those homes. They will not take the mortgage you want them to take to buy those homes.
Thank you.
So let us go back to the basics.
Okay, we go back to the basics.
Basics, do everything right. If you want to copy Singapore, look at their governance structure.
Thank you.
How are they doing things right?
Correct.
Do things right, you will be on your way to Singapore.
All right. Senate Council is raising issues to do with corporate governance. And the challenge is, again, how can we as a country, achieve that first world income with third world inefficiencies, especially when it comes to corporate governance, issues to do with corruption, just as is being indicated. Your thoughts?
I think, first of all, thank you for having me in this show tonight. But even before I come to the specific issues that my colleague has raised, I wanted to say that I think in the 4 years that we have had President Ruto in administration, this is probably one of the biggest beautiful things that has happened in the country, because everybody now is discussing about a vision, about what they want to see in the development. We've gotten a break from the usual vitriol in politics. And I'm liking the fact that the discussion is being carried out at different levels. I'm seeing young people, you know, saying their things, women saying their things, old people saying their things. I think this is a beautiful thing. Bible says, without our vision, our people perish. And I think this vision that we are trying to create for the people, to focus them where we can go, it's possible to achieve it. And you know, when you look at it, Vision 2030 has brought us to where we are with the SGR. We've seen the road networks improve. We have seen education improve, more people are covered and so on. But now we want to take a leap, a big leap. And you know, Dibal, we are not inventing the wheel. From where I see it, I had the fortune of visiting China officially to see what they do, you know. And we were invited as some members of the UDA to see how how China does its things. This is sometime, I think it was towards the end of last year. And let me tell you, China is not there by chance. China has had very, very good planning, very nice. China, and I hope this is what we are going to achieve. Since 1953, they've had very strict way of doing their things. And in this year, you know what they do? They have 3 levels of development planning. There's the long-term development planning, which would be like 15 years. And then there is the 5-year development plans. And then the third level is where we have sectoral and local annual plans that will feed into the 5 years, that will feed into the long-term development plan. In March 2026, they adopted that 15-year plan, for example. And then now, every area has adopted its own 5-year plan, you know? So like the sector for manufacturing, they will go and say, we want by this time to be able to do this in AI. By this time, we want to be doing this in science, technology, and whatever. By this time, we want to be producing this amount of metric ton as entire China for maize or whatever it is. So people are geared, people are focused, people are moving in that direction. So all the planning of government, the provincial systems, and the local councils and whatever, they feed into what has been agreed. So for me, I think this discussion is so important that despite all the other things that may be there, I think Kenya has taken a very good step in the right direction. So for me, I'm hoping, and you know, apart from doing this, apart from China, apart from adopting the 15-year development plan in March 2026, they also passed a law called the National Development Plan. It's a law, it's like a planning law that now segments, I mean, it cements the whole, whatever we have agreed now. The next leadership cannot come and just disrupt everything, because this is something that in Kenya has been also an issue. that maybe you start, you give a promise in your manifesto, you start moving it in this direction, the promise is not anchored in law, the next administration comes and removes it. So I'm hoping after we have agreed on how the country should look like in 30 years, then let us also know that the county development plans will be feeding into the national development plan, so that all of us are moving in the same direction. And I'm also hoping that we will create a law, just like China did, that will force administrations to come, because Ruto is just going to be there for another 5 years, and then after that he's gone. But we don't know who else will come after President Ruto. We want the country to be larger than the political players and office holders. So for me, I want, like, my children to grow knowing that, Dad, they promised maybe 100,000 kilometers of tarmac, bitumen standard, the way Mheshimiwa Mogeni is saying, that Singapore has 100% coverage, and we don't have that 100% coverage. So that then my kids, if they ever get into office, or their generation, when they get into office, they know the previous guys, they did only 30% or 40%, but this is the plan. So we need to find resources to execute these plans. Now, I believe our country, with the irrespective of the differences in our political, visions and plans.
Yes,
I think our country has a good number of people who believe in the positive good in the country, and who know that if we execute a plan, irrespective of who is leading the nation, who is running the county government,
yes,
we are going to take steps ahead, and our children are going to have more jobs, and our economy is going to grow. So I think we are headed in the right direction.
In the right direction. And we can see that he's very sanguine and optimistic that, President Ruto is going to come in the next 5 years. And of course, he's got this political philosophy that it will outlive him. So we need to vision cast beyond also the cycle of election. Electioneering after every 5 good years, then we're going back to the ballot, and we have, the breaking of the continuity maybe of even this vision. What do you think about his philosophy that, yes, I'm carrying out a vision that will outlive me?
Okay. Let me start with a comment on public participation. When I've tried to internalize what was happening at KICC, and even the concept of having a development charter, all these things they are talking about. And it is reminding me of UDA a few years ago. They went to all the counties.
Yes, the 47 counties.
And held public engagements. What do you people want?
The economic forums.
Economic forums. And then they prepared a charter out of it, which they then called the binding contract between them and those people. If you vote, we will deliver this. So this more or less looks to me like that. When you want to design a model to bring economic growth in a country, when you consult the people, it should not be about we want this built, because that is not how you develop a country. If you look at Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew was very clear. We must have world-class human resource. So the education system has to be world-class. We invest in it. Best schools, we train our guys locally and send them out to the best universities in the world, and they come back. Civil service, meritocracy. We have it in our constitution, Article 232, fair competition and meritocracy. We hire the best. In fact, in Singapore, the best are in public service, not even the private sector. And thirdly, Lee Kuan Yew insisted you must have values, no corruption. Basic courtesies, value systems. That is what built Singapore. It is not asking people, tell us what you want a water project here. Those follow what I've just described. So, and when you do consultation, asking people what they want, that is not being helpful to them, because one Greek king said the opinion of 10,000 people is irrelevant if they are not experts on the subject matter. So however many people you talk to, will not really make a difference. But let's go back to the concept of economic plans. Generally, the idea of time-based economic plans are generally creations of command and control economies, mainly the communists. That is, you'll find them in China, you'll find them in Russia, the old Czechoslovakia. It's the communists that would come with a 10-year development plan. They would come with a
100 years.
or 100 years. Because, and then they would put it in law, which is very different from what happens in a democratic society. In a democratic society, they'll have sessional papers, they'll have policy papers, because there are things called elections. And in each election, people come with their manifestos. And when you get the mandate of the people, you implement your manifesto. And people compete at the level of ideas and ideologies. So your ideas and ideologies can't bind me ad infinitum when I go to seek elections. So we need to clearly understand why some countries have development plans, others don't. And why some put them in law, others don't put them in laws. Yeah, because if we don't agree with some economic policies that the current administration is pursuing, why put them in law to bind us? And we go to the public and we tell them the SHA model is not working. The university funding model is not working. And they want to put them in law. Why? They should just implement them, and we will go and tell the people in the next election, this is not working, we are going to scrap it. Affordable housing tax is not working. The model of affordable housing, the way it is today. You know, we have forgotten that slum proliferation is a function of labor supply and incomes. Yes, until you address those issues, people will never leave, will never come out of slums. Because people need to live where they can access their places of work in an affordable manner. Yes, so you need to make sure they have the distance or the transport system works for them. And then they must have income, yeah, to, like the flats that are being built. If those people don't have incomes and you put them in there, they'll just walk out and rent out the same places and move to a neighboring slum. And this has been experimented with in Europe. France is a very good example, and some parts of Spain. When there was large immigration from the colonies into the metropolis, they built a lot of structures to accommodate new immigrants. And people moved in there, but they were not given incomes. So over the years, they could not afford service charges, utilities, and social disharmony started erupting in those places. If you go to Paris, you'll find condominiums built in the 50s for Middle Eastern immigrants. Today, even the police can't go in there because of poverty that is prevailing there. So you must address the question of incomes and the question of labor supply to workplaces. So it's more complicated than very simplistic in the way you think you go somewhere, you get a piece of land and you want to put up structures.
But very interesting, of course, perspective there where we can see the interplay, as you're talking about the communist ideology that you'll project 100 years, you know, because they don't have electioneering cycle that like we do. So is it also maybe where we have the Kenyan paradox that our economy sometimes, you know, it has a steady growth, then we have a lull that is elongated for a while, then it picks up. You know, that is depending also on the leadership of the day. Is it now a battle between maybe the social economic theories or maybe the modern, maybe so to speak, development theory, that it is a tug of war between capitalists and the communists? Are we also trying to peg our development on a communist theory while we are solely a capitalist economy, so to speak? Is that the sense I'm actually getting from you?
No, yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that there, you know, like vision, it was called Vision 2030. It was not called an economic plan.
Yes.
It was just called Vision 2030. It's a vision, yeah. But the communists will give you a plan.
Yes.
And they'll insist on it, and they'll anchor it in law. Because once the party decides, that's it. Mm-hmm. In China, the party is more powerful than the civil service. Mm. Yes. And to rise in the civil service, the party must recommend where you go. For me, and now this is for Linda Mwananchi, when we read our constitution, we are convinced that the best development model or ideological model for Kenya is what we call social market economy. If you look at social market economy, the three pillars, democratic governance, that makes us not communists, mm-hmm. but we have in between there social justice.
Yes.
This is where nobody is left behind. So you have social protection interventions. And then the third pillar, free market enterprise.
Yes.
People must create wealth, but they must be enabled and facilitated to create wealth. Mm-hmm. Private sector growth.
Yes.
Led economic development. That's what we are talking about. Mm-hmm. And it's a fusion of capitalist thinking, socialist thinking, mm-hmm. and pragmatism. So we call it social market economy. Mm-hmm. So that is what we think best represents our constitution and aspirations as a country, as Linda Mwananchi movement. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Right. The social market economy. We'll come back to that later. Let's talk about that Kenya development paradox. As we say, sometimes we've been seeing, and I think everyone has been taking the seminal example of President Kibaki's, of course, leadership and the economy. Should I say the economy is stupid during his reign as well? I don't know what will be your sentiment, even in measuring our growth using the GDP, but everyone is saying, can we actually assess it through the Human Development Index? So it's not so much of the figures that we're trying to get, maybe the 10% economic growth that was achieved this year, but what is actually going to Mwananchi's pocket?
Yeah, you're right. And first, I don't know why my friend Senator Mungatana is talking about Ruto being in office up to 2032. I think I've heard him twice repeatedly saying, if I leave next year. So because he's very conscious that there's an election coming next year, and chances of him losing an election are very high.
And chances of him winning are very high.
He has to keep your hope alive.
So yeah? And chances of him winning are also very high.
They always say that hope deferred makes the heart sick.
So he should be telling us if he leaves the next year. Mm-hmm. But, countries have moved from just telling people about statistics. Like I hear when people in government want to talk about SHA, they will tell you we have registered 18 million Kenyans for SHA. They will tell you there is a lot of trade ongoing at national NSC in Nairobi. But that's not the way you measure the happiness of a population. Mm. There is a country called Bhutan, which measures national gross happiness. If you want to know that you are a successful leader, you should look at the gross national happiness of your people. Yeah. And gross national happiness of your people should be that if I talk to you, Dibal, you are happy with the way your country is being governed. If the first thing you tell me is you are very disgusted with the corruption you see, with the bad governance you are seeing, with the scandals around government, then whether you speak about our GDP having gone up or whatever, people will not resonate with that. Even when you get the index of the most happy people in the world, if you go to the top 10, you're in Finland or you're in Australia, it's that these are people first appreciate the theory you have been told, the social services, and then the economic support, that the earnings you are getting can allow you to live a decent life, and that the government will cushion you by providing the social services that you need. The healthcare should be working, the education system is working, and you are guaranteed that as long as you are a reasonable person, you can get employment and get income that guarantees you a decent life. But what you find here is you'll be told that this country has built, I don't know, 200,000 new houses. Who is occupying these houses? When you look at the economy, you don't have the population that earns money that can enable them to get a mortgage. Okay. Mm-hmm. In fact, you go to countries like Finland. Yes. You know, I think it's the top is ranked. They will allow the municipalities to build houses for renting, so that those who are not able to buy houses can get affordable. You know, the way we used to have Makongeni, Uhuru, those estates where you knew that you come to Nairobi, you're working, you can go to a city council house, and they are affordable. That's what they do. Then when they want you to own a house, the government will actually give you a grant. They say, okay, you need 10% deposit. As a graduate from university, the government will give you 5%, you contribute 5%. They do the same thing even down in Australia. So the government does not take up the business of constructing houses, but it will allow business people to come in, construct the houses, but create a ready market for those houses by supporting new university graduates and giving you a salary that can buy those houses. So you vision the two. So some socialism and capitalism, because you want to allow people to do business so that as a government, there is also employment opportunities, because that's how you create employment opportunities. But I think here we do a lot of focus on politics, because if you ask me about the vision for President Ruto, it's these things they are doing are they called empowerment, where they come to counties and meet.
Right. Before we delve into it, can I just take a 1 minute break, then we circle back with that particular conversation. Allow us just to run a bit of commercials as well. It's 11 o'clock on the nose. We circle back with more. Don't go away.
We might fail. We will probably fail, but not for a lack of trying. So for the last time, and the first time, welcome to Connect In, the best experience in Eastern Central Africa and its environs.
Saturday at 8:30 p.m. on TV47. Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m.
This is a very serious place.
I see that.
All right, welcome back. We continue pace with the conversation, and I think I was on Congo Mogani. Hope you've not lost your track.
No, I've not lost my track.
So with empowerment.
This issue of empowerment and the issue of Hustler Fund. You know, you are telling us that every successful election, a new leader will come up with a new manifesto. And I think the best example is President Ruto, because he rode to power on this vision of bottom up, where you will go to the hustler nation. That's the people in the lower cadre of earning, and raise them up so that they also become empowered and join the economy at the high level.
Yes.
But I think all that has collapsed. Now nobody's talking about the hustler nation. Nobody's telling us how successful this program has been, because that was really their vision. So you should tell us, is that vision going to take us to 2060, or you have abandoned it and you want to come up with something new? But I will repeat, even if you go to the country that Mungatana, Senator, has talked about, when I was head of anti-corruption, we went to China to just see how their anti-corruption works, their anti-corruption initiatives. And the National Commission of Supervision, which was mirrored like Kenya Anti-Corruption Commission then, is a no-nonsense. In fact, in China, if you hear that the anti-corruption is coming for you, you start running before they reach you. So the idea of somebody thinking that occupying public office is a ticket for personal enrichment is very unattractive. And I can tell you that's where the rain beats us. Everything in this country is about people wanting to cut deals for personal enrichment. You follow SHA, you find there's somebody behind it making a huge kill out of it. You go to housing, it's the same thing. Some people want to be the suppliers of steel, cement. That's what their main focus is, not really to uplift our economy as a country. So it is the political class, us, who make everything to look like it's politics. You have many countries that have democracy. They are not like China, where you don't allow other people to rise up. If you go to Australia, it's a democracy. Every 4 years they do elections. But after an election season, people settle down to work, and you are held to account. If there is inflation, you get worried, okay? If the earnings of the population goes down, you get worried. You know, they are very good measurable things to look at, to charge, to pass judgment whether a leader is successful or not. But here, we just like playing games with our people.
All right. Let me come to Senator Mungatana. Because people are wondering also, especially the political pundits, they're observing that maybe this unveiling of the vision is at this time. Why is it providentially being unveiled at this particular time? Are we reading maybe a political sleight of hand and political chicanery, you know, coming from the administration that will use this as a guise, of course, going to the 47 counties, but that will be in a way subtly, you know, campaigning?
No, no. And I say no the third time because if you look at the way this thing has been casted, you know, there's a difference between the state and an administration. What we are talking about are years to come. It's not what we are going to do next year. We've not.
But everyone is
Allow
wondering.
me.
Yes.
Allow me.
Okay.
We were talking about campaigns and how we will approach campaign by joining ODM, UDA, and affiliate parties. We've appointed people who will look at joint manifestos, and we will go into campaign. That is politics. But then, and that is for 2027, okay? But then when we are talking about 2060, when we are talking about how we need to make sure development is going to be spread across the country, that's not politics. That is the state. And the problem in Kenya is that the head of government is also the head of state. So sometimes we fail to distinguish the roles. But from where I sit, the president was not looking at his votes. He didn't appeal to any vote when he was there. He didn't talk any politics, but played his role as head of state. And I want to now just address one or two issues that have come up in our discussions here, and tell Kenyans who are listening to me that please, as you listen to the bad news, the negativity that people have against their own country, the bad stories, also look at what is there, the realities. You know, the administration that is led by William Ruto, when we took over, we have moved from a time when we were doing $5.7 billion in terms of the import cover to now $12.3 billion. I mean, we can stay up to almost 6 months. Foreign exchange reserves are there. We didn't have that, okay? We were doing, and I sit in the Pan-African Parliament. I'm the head of delegation for Kenya. And I can authoritatively tell you, Kenya now is ranked number 6 in Africa as an economy. So Kenyans, as you are listening to all these other stories, also know that we have stabilized our dollar at 129 for 2 years, you know. Let me tell you, our nation has made some strides. As we are talking now, the coffee prices have gone high in agriculture. Tea, they have gone high. And we've stabilized there. Why? Because of the reforms this government has been able, this administration has been able to do. We came into office talking about the small person, the mama mbogas. And let me tell you, many people could not access credit because of CRB. The little reforms that we did has released 7 million Kenyans who are not allowed to get credit because of CRB. Now they are able to get credit. What people are talking about, the Hustler Fund, saying that we are not talking about it, it has failed and whatever. Many people who started with 500, borrowing 500 every day and returning, and they've gone to 1,000, they've gone to 5,000, and some of them who have come together even getting 150,000 credit, loans, and then they repay. So the fact of the matter is that there was that hustler who was in CRB. Now he is a free man. We have done markets. I mean, in Tana River, we've never seen a market as big as the one that are being constructed now. Our people are moving into those markets for the first time, and they're trading in areas that are decent for the first time. So that same hustler who was in CRB has gone out of CRB. He has been able to borrow. He has been able to move to a decent place to do his market and his work. And I'm looking at the same hustler being able to access healthcare that was not available to him. The same hustler, apart from the registration that my colleague has said, the figures, we're talking about over 8 million people who have received treatment. Governors today will tell you the small facilities are getting more money. The payment coming from SHA is much better than what they used to get from NHIF. Let us criticize, okay, of course nothing is perfect, but we have made some strides. People who are running hospitals in our localities are telling us that at least we are getting something that we never used to get.
Thank you.
So I'm saying, as Kenyans are listening to all these other things, because that's what makes news. When I tell you that we have moved Kenya ahead, when I tell you Kenya now is in charge of this Office for Reforms for Africa, it's not news, When I tell you Kenya was invited to G7, it's not news, because Kenyans don't think it's when things are running, it's not important. But when someone comes and tells you, no, this housing thing, I will scrap it, they clap for him, but they are not telling him what he's going to do with the rest.
What is the alternative? And
then at the same time, Dibal, people are saying there's nobody who's going to enter those houses. But, surely, facts speak for themselves. Even the ones that are being constructed in Tana River now, people have bought them. People are buying them, So if there's no market for that, where is all this money coming from? I mean, the market forces are playing. It's an investment. And some of the people who are even greatest critics of this affordable housing, if you check, you will see they have bought for themselves, their sons, their daughters, because every person is supposed to have one unit using your ID. They have registered in Boma Yetu and they are getting those units. But then they'll come and say, this thing is not working. So, because they want to make news, it's right. Okay politically, but I'm also telling Kenyans who are listening to me that this government has actually made tangible difference. People have been saying, even some guy here who used to be a deputy president, making, nonsense statement that the Rironi Mau Summit Road is a joke, it's a lie. I drove there. I went to the Naivasha meeting. There's construction everywhere. And, for them, if a stadium is in their area, it's okay. But if it's built in Wajir, no, it's a waste of public funds. No, we shouldn't do that. The roads, they can have roads which are down and up. 10 lanes, 5 lanes, it's okay. But if the road is built to connect Isiolo, to connect Marsabit, to come all the way the other side, then there's something wrong there. We shouldn't be doing that. Why? Oh, there's corruption. There is what? But when it's being done on their side, it's okay. This administration has brought equity across the 47 counties. And in all those 47 counties, and
Thank you.
My colleague here can agree with me.
Thank you.
Let me just finish that one. My colleague can agree with me that even the percentage amount of money that is going to counties, this administration has increased it tremendously. The constitutional standard is 15%, but we have gone high. And every year we have been increasing. So give due to
credit where it's due.
I mean, Kenyans must listen to this.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it doesn't make news.
It is not news.
It's not news. So all the time, even you are rushing me because you don't want me to speak about this matter.
Not necessarily.
You want the other
taking a
people
well of time,
to speak.
of course, everyone has to.
No, but it's 2 against 1, so I should get times 2. Anyway, I'm just putting this fact, Dibal, and with a lot of humility to Kenyans listening to me, that we have actually some tangible things. The roads that were stuck under the previous administration, they are being constructed. I drove in this road and praying to God that everything goes well.
Thank you.
Pasaka na December, Christmas, watu hawatakuwa wakingangania hii barabara the way they have been doing like forever.
No snarl up against.
I pray that everything will work. And so let us say this, our country, under this president, there's been some measure of equity across the nation.
Thank you.
Let us agree that some things have happened.
I know you can wax really call on and on and on. Don't stop you.
I will leave it there. I'll leave it there.
Okay, let me just turn the crack a bit and we discuss also some of the party politics, looking at the time that is also, running low on us. Just give me maybe a state of affairs regarding Linda Mwananchi. You are last week at the office of the Register of Political Parties, right, expressing your disappointment regarding the reservation and the registration of the Linda Mwananchi as a political party. What is the status right now?
Let me first clarify that we are seeking the name.
You're seeking the name.
To be reserved so that we can use it, either to rebrand an existing party, not to form a new party, so that people are clear on this. Because there's an impression being created that we don't have a party as Linda Mwananchi movement.
But do you have a party?
We have so many parties as members of Linda Mwananchi.
It's a coalition of parties. But are you, is it?
I don't have to reveal that.
No, but we need to know.
We are not, you see, Linda Mwananchi is our political brand. We have built it. We started it, we have built it. So we have applied that it be reserved for our use in our politics, which is very different from having a political party. Now, when we first made the application, you remember first some strangers applied for it. And we protested, and the registrar declined to reserve the name for them. Then we applied, and the registrar came back and told us in the public interest, he could not give us the name. Under our constitution, you must give reasons for your decision if you're a public servant. We didn't see any. We actually felt it is in the public interest to register Linda Mwananchi. It's the other way around. So we asked him to review his decision, he did. And this time round, he came back and changed the justification for denying us. He said some other party has reserved it. We have since obtained several documents to show very clearly that there's a game going on there.
So reserved it as Linda Mwananchi or Linda Mukenya?
As Liberty.
A Liberty.
Something with an acro, trying to have
a similarity.
No. It's not even Linda Mwananchi party. Somebody has registered, or rather, they are claiming that somebody has reserved a name. Linda not Linda. They've reserved a name, Liberty Movement Democratic something. Even if you use the abbreviation of Linda Democratic something, it cannot be LI. It will be LMD something, whatever it is. But the name people seem to have applied for it twice, in 2024 and in 2026. But these are issues the lawyers are dealing with, and I think the matter is going to be dealt with legally. Because we know what is going on there. We know. We know the shenanigans, and we will deal with them. It's not an issue that is going to affect the movement negatively or will slow us down or stop our activities in any way. It is just the usual African way of doing politics, where those in power decide to use fiat. You know, it's just, we are used to those kind of things here in Africa. Yeah.
All right, so also maybe you can broaden our understanding on what is really happening also within the Azimio coalition party, right? Because we saw, of course, Eugene Wamalwa's party is back. We've seen other parties also joining you. But under the umbrella, there seems to be some unraveling that is happening. I don't know, you can just tell us, because within that particular conference that you had recently, everyone was expecting also DCP should be part of it and part and parcel of course, the entire announcement. But we don't know what is really happening currently. Are there any differences between, you know, the party leader of Azimio as it is right now with the DCP?
No, I'm not aware of any differences. I think what is happening, you know, parties and the memberships make the decisions and the paths they want to go to. So a lot of discussions, of course, you know, is ongoing on how people will relate going forward. But others have asked for more time. Others want to join now. Others want to join later. The leader of DCP and the leader of Wiper are working together under United Opposition, aren't they? They have their own formation, they are working together. Remember, Azimio was Raila's last party.
Yes.
So there were people who were not in that coalition. DP was not there, they are now joining. But PNU of Governor Munya was there. Lenny Kivitu's bus was there. So the others who are there, Eugene was there, Karua's was there but left. So the others who have come back, then the others who have joined.
And then it was DCP, or it was Kiratu Murungi's as Mbas?
Yes, it was the same party.
Okay, it was the same party, okay.
Yes. So you have DCP, which is a new kid on the block. Yeah, maybe they need more time to do their own things and then join. It's up to them, but they've been invited and they are working very closely with the rest of the members of the opposition. Jubilee was always there, led by His Excellency Matiang'i. So there's no, these things take time. People come at different times. Yeah.
All right.
There's no conflict. I don't see that people are at war or are fighting. I'm sure.
So is it a perception of the media that, yeah,
no, people, you see, there are two things here. The formation of a grand coalition, isn't it? That's what you're asking.
Yes.
That has to take time because there's still time for it. Actually, I think a coalition should be formed, 3 months before elections? So that is next year. That should be the last time to form a coalition. Others can form it early, others can form it in between. Even the announcement of who the ticket bearers are, again, there are timelines for that. But you must remember, this is a matter that is like, you know, when conception, it is a matter similar to conception. The timing has to be right. Not too early and not too late.
So no premature births. Well, Kenyans are really gagging for that premature birth. They're saying, name it, have the coalition strictly. But also, let me come to Okongo Omogeni and just ask him, because we had a broad-based now meeting where also Senator Mungatana was in Naivasha, which you were conspicuously missing. If we were strictly really following the law, right, and even maybe adherence to what the political parties acts is really, you know, trying to make sure every Kenyan is really adhering to. You two in ODM missing and trying to form another party, so to speak, right? Isn't that really not really allowed according to the statutes of the Political Parties Act in the country? That you seem to be deeming, even if you're in another party? Because I know Okongo Mogini his soul is not in ODM right now.
So where has it gone?
I don't know.
I don't know where the soul is. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, even you, Wakili Karoli, your soul is not now in ODM. But isn't that in the contravention of what the Political Parties Act is saying?
No, Dibal, I don't know. You should start. You know, if we want to wear a moral compass, you should start by looking at the arrangement that we have of broad-based government. I think that's the biggest violation of the Constitution. You should begin there and say whether it is morally right.
Yeah, we will come to it.
You want to remove the cloud in my eye before you remove the log from the president's side.
Let's begin with the log.
If we were, the log is actually on the president's side.
I want to talk about that one myself.
Because, you see, I don't know if you have followed politics in democratic nations. Very few countries have dictatorial approach where you are told you shift from a party, you lose your seat, or you are deemed to have resigned. If you follow the American politics, you know this Senator Joe Mancini, okay, who gave Joe Biden a run for his money, used to not to toe the party line in many occasions. But what the party does is that it will tell you, during the elections, we shall withdraw our support for you and subject you to primaries. Okay? In fact, he continued serving as the chair of Energy Committee till election time, when he opted to quit. And even Christine Sinema, also senator. Okay? You go to UK, House of Commons, you will see that even during Brexit, so many members of the Conservative Party did not support May, the Prime Minister then. But there was not this debate we see here, people saying that you should resign or whatever. You know, you read the Constitution, the Kenyan Constitution, the Bill of Rights is the longest chapter in the entire Constitution. Now 18 chapters. The longest is the chapter on fundamental freedoms and fundamental rights. It has got 40 articles.
So what is
very detailed?
What is your point?
It says it gives me unfettered right to associate, okay, a right to hold an opinion, to be guided by my conscience, and it says you cannot punish anybody because he has followed what his conscience tells him.
So what is the strength of a Political Parties Act where you were deemed to have resigned?
No, you know,
you're promoting the ideology of another party.
If you read,
Can I explain
if you read this Constitution, when it left Bomas, I was the chair of Law Society then. I participated in detail in reviewing and redrafting Article 103. Part of the clauses that was there was the one saying, if you are expelled by your political party, you lose your seat in Parliament. And when we were debating, we said taking us back there will be like introducing the Okiki-Amayo committees of those days. And we said that provision will be in direct conflict with fundamental freedoms, with the Constitution. So it was removed. So where we are now, we are in that season. In fact, you're going to see so many migrations. Because from next year in June, the law requires that I must be a member of a political party if I intend to vie. But I will not be told to resign my seat as a senator by February. Now, I don't think you need to, what you should actually be debating, and which we miss to put in our Constitution, is how we run our coalitions. You know, in democracies, when you are pinning down a coalition, it should be ink and paper, so that we know what are our limits, okay, and what can we support and what can we not support. Am I right? Because In 2017, when the Conservatives went into a coalition with the Democratic Union Party, and they called it, I think they were calling it the Confidence and Supply Coalition, they limited their support to supporting the government in passing finance bills and crucial legislations. But they agreed that in some issues where the Democratic Union Party had fundamental differences with the Conservative Party, they would not support it. So there was a framework. Now, if I asked you today, do we have any coalition framework that is guiding the broad-based government? There is none. That's why our conversation should begin from, that we need to clean our politics first.
All right.
There's only one point I wanted to state. You know, people of Nyamira are watching me on this show. And Senator Mugatana has said that earnings in agriculture has improved. And I heard him mention tea. When President Uhuru was leaving office, the earnings for tea farmers, what we call bonus, was 24 shillings per kilo. Last year, the payments to the tea farmers in the entire Gusii region was ranging from 10 shillings to a maximum of 12. Meaning the earnings for farmers has dropped more than 50%. Actually, that's 50% plus. So it's not correct in terms of facts to state on this show that the earnings for tea farmers has increased or improved under the regime of President Ruto. And then also, what is revealing is about this issue of housing. Now, when you are told that one family, I think he mentioned that you find a father and the children buying many units. That's what he said. That tells you...
Everybody has...
Yeah, but that's one family. That means one rich family is buying those units. That was not the intention. Affordable houses was meant to help the poor of the poorest. But from what he has just told Kenyans on TV, it means that it is actually the rich who are buying those houses and not the intended beneficiaries. Finally, on SHA, you know, everybody, including the president, acknowledges that SHA cannot serve him even after he retires. He has put for himself a private package after he retires. 2 weeks ago, judges approached him and they told him, you know, this SHA thing cannot help us. It's not working. They fast-tracked a law in the National Assembly, okay, that gives judges a very attractive, which that's how it should be. I fully support, that's how it should be. That gives judges a very attractive private cover. Now, if SHA was working, why would the president call judges and agree with them that I'm going to give you a package of a private insurance cover other than SHA? That in itself, Dibal, is an admission that SHA has failed and is not working.
Can I say something?
I think you wanted to say something. Hang on.
No, but it's my turn.
It's your turn.
Don't jump me.
You wanted to add something on the political parties Act because I think we're going off the rails.
It's my turn. It's also my bill of rights now.
I'll come back to that thing of political parties.
No, but I wanted to say that in this country, there is no, how can I put it, cleanliness in the politics. It's not sanitized. This shifting, this doing that and the other is not sanitized. And as far as I'm concerned, I think what we need to do, and I agree with many people when they say this, is to let the market judge, okay? Just the way we agree that meat should sell at this amount per kilo, and then somebody sells that, then everybody now, they see if you go too high, you won't get customers. If you measure your kgs, you're stealing from the customers, they won't buy from you. If they are not sanitized, it's not sanitary condition. Let the market decide. And you see, I really like the way in France, how Macron just came up, convinced people, formed a coalition of people and what. They formed a party, registered it in a very short time, And they went on to win the presidency of France in a party that was not in existence previously. Now, I would personally prefer a situation where Kenyans are free, you know. We just have the regulator of the political parties, the registrar of political parties, being able to register. But it should be facilitative. You see, like, I'm not one of those people who is happy when if somebody wants to form a political party tomorrow, he's being told you can't, or there's this and the other. I think people should be free to form this, except making sure that the basics, like you should be present in 24 counties, it should not be religious, it should not be tribal, and so on. The regulator should be there to regulate those things, but it should be a free market. And I really believe that we should look at that whole regulation of political parties and allow for free market economy to play there. Anybody who wants to form a party, even you, Dibal, if you want to form, you should form tomorrow and go. The guy should just look and say, you want this name is there, it's not there. Go and form your party and try your luck in the market. I think we should be having that kind of approach. I also believe, even within let's say I've been elected in UDA, I am in UDA. In fact, the only senator in the 6 counties of the coast. Now, if I want to shift, I should not be punished for that. You get? Mm-hmm. And if somebody else who is in another political party wants to come to UDA, they should not be punished for that. I think we should have fluidity. We should have... I am one of those people who believes that there should be just freedom.
But what does it portend also within the balance of power in the National Assembly?
No, so that
you're shifting, you're talking
let me explain this, Dibal. This freedom should be such that, you see, if my party is active, like I have made sure that it is active in Tana River, then people should be attracted to come and vie for it, within it, you know. Strong candidates should come to my party. Okay? It's my business to market the party all the time. It's my business to make sure what we are voting in the Senate, I'm explaining to our people so that people can associate with good things, my political party. It's my business, apart from Harambes and what, also to preach and to brand my political party so that it stays in the market. But equally, if somebody else comes and is a sitting member and he has seen that he wants to join our political party or vote with us, they should be free. So you quoted a section of the law that is restrictive. I'm not for that. For my thinking is, all right, if you are treating your troops well, if you are the party leader or the party chair or the secretary general and your people are happy, they should stay and attract other people to your formation. So that they vote with you.
I sense somebody is winding up on his party, right? Yeah, so
no, just for the record.
Preparing for the record to receive someone.
No,
I'm ready.
For the record, I will run on UDA, okay. And I think Tana River is going to be yellow. And maybe a lot of the coast. But what I want to emphasize here is that there must be freedom. So that those who want to join can join, those who want to leave can leave.
So you agree there is violation of this particular act?
No, it is just the act is...
The restrictions.
The reality of the matter is that it is what it is what it is now. It is the reality.
What is it?
When somebody says...
You're prevaricating on this. What is it?
I'm telling you that
just give me a one-liner.
My one-liner is
Are they violated or it's not violated?
No, my one-liner is this, If there is a law that says wearing spectacles is wrong, and then everybody is wearing spectacles, it means that law has not caught up with what is supposed to be. So we cannot have an offense where everybody is a criminal.
I think
so. We should be getting the law has been left behind. It should be amended.
Dibal, there are fundamental questions of law here that we need to explain to the public, and also give a bit of history. Africans in Kenya first voted in 1957. There were no political parties. Certain individuals were allowed to vote. 8 were elected to Legiko. You remember? Then the next election was 1961, where there were political parties. But in 1966, after independence, when Jaramogi resigned and formed KPU, and a lot of KANU members left with him to join KPU, the government of the time felt threatened that people could actually move from KANU into KPU and they become majority. So very quickly, an amendment was brought into the constitution that if you're elected in one party and you move to another, you must seek fresh mandate. It is important that people understand. It was never in our original constitution. And the reason for that was simply to stop the hemorrhage of KANU members into KPU. Now let's go back to some fundamental questions. The Political Parties Act that we have today is a product negotiated between dominant political parties to protect themselves. It is an example of party capture of parliament and the political space. It has a lot of unconstitutional provisions. One of them is the one saying if you associate with another party, you'll be deemed to have resigned or to have whatever.
Defected.
I've proposed an amendment that it be deleted. The other one is what he's saying, that you should be present in many counties. That too is unconstitutional. Why? Because in Kenya, individuals are elected, not political parties. When you go to the election, it is Karoli Omondi on the ballot. It is not ODM. In South Africa, ANC, the party, is voted for.
On the ballot.
Then ANC sends members list. Then you become a member because ANC has got a certain number of votes. So they can recall you. So if you resign from ANC because that was their vote and that was their seat, then you lose your seat. If you go to England, Australia, the other Commonwealth countries, today, how many conservatives have moved from Conservative Party to Reform? There are no by-elections.
It's not even an issue.
It's not even an issue. In Commonwealth countries, if you disagree with your party and you move, they take away the whip, you go to a place called crossbench. Unakaa hapo katikati. That is how it is. So this particular clause is unconstitutional. Actually, it should be removed. People should be free. Even in England, you know how long it takes to form a party? Hours. In England, if you want to form a political party, you go, you fill a form, you state the name, the address, and all that. Then there are only 2 declarations that you make. One, that you will field candidates in elections. You can't have a party in England if you're not fielding candidates. The second form is how you will finance your party. Then you are registered. You pay 27,000 shillings.
Noted hard on.
Yes. Here, when they tell you, that in Kenya you must be in 24 counties and have 1,000 members per county, I have a right to register an Omena party for Omena fishermen of Suba only. You can't take that away from me. You can't tell me that my Omena party must have members in Wajir, in Kitui. What have they got to do with Omena? Fishing. Yeah. So we have a lot of things that dominant political parties created, put in law.
But I thought the essence also is just to avoid, registering parties that have, bodies. Is an existence of a body. Whoa. So we are avoiding the religious bodies.
No.
We are avoiding the youth.
No.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
So that is
go to Commonwealth countries. Go to Australia. There are people who have political parties for one issue. Yeah, they want to smoke marijuana. So they form a marijuana party to articulate that issue in an election. Others believe, like in France, they are sex libertines. They are free. They can date as many partners as they want. They form their own party. You can't stop them. I'm giving you the extreme cases.
Okay.
There's no, what is a problem having 1,000 political parties or 10,000 political parties? You can have as many parties as the entire population. Everybody can have their own party. There's no problem. And you're being told that your right to form a party is dependent on associating with some other 24,000 people. That is unconstitutional. That right is personal to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's bring this to a close, but getting also a closing remarks. So there is an amendment. Who has moved?
I've proposed several amendments to the Political Parties Act because ODM and UDA, they create these things in the law as barriers to competition, to stop new entrants entering the political space. And even if you read the NADCO report, you know what they are suggesting? That now we don't just have a single registrar of political parties, but we have a 5-member commission. ODM nominates half, UDA, to regulate political parties. And they are competitors in that field. I mean, how criminal can people
It should have been inclusive.
It's just criminal.
In fact, you know
Yeah.
towards the tail end of last parliament, I was chair of Justice Legal Affairs Committee. And you know, we amended the law to capture the concerns that Honorable Karori is raising. You know, they had very stringent conditions before you qualify to receive funding, taxpayers' money coming to political parties. And now even a party with 1 member of parliament is getting funding because we need to support growth of political parties.
But again, there is a crime there, my senior counsel.
Yes.
Political party funding, even the way it is structured currently by the dominant political parties, is a rip-off of the public. Parties should get campaign financing for airtime, for explaining manifesto. But in Kenya, political parties which are private members' clubs are paid even when there is no election. Why do we pay private members' clubs? You can as well pay Nairobi Club.
But that, why should it be funded by who?
But do you know how many? The political parties are claiming 70 billion from the taxpayer today. In a competitive democracy, they already have 70 billion. How can a new party compete with them? It is undemocratic. It is criminal. It is theft. What we should have is campaign financing for political parties, everybody. Yes, and then you get it according to the number of seats you have won in the last elections.
What I'm saying, 0.03 that goes to the party,
it is theft.
It is theft.
You know, it is theft.
According to
I think what is wrong.
We need to wind up. It's getting sweet about.
No, I just want to make one point. We should liberalize the politics of this country. Let there be freedom. You know, and then let the market decide. You know, in the US, we had so many parties, and they field so many presidential candidates. There's even an alcoholics party, you know, that field presidential candidates. But you'll just see it is just the Democrats and the Republicans, because they have managed to sell policies and they've become dominant across the 52 states of the United States. But you don't want to come there and say, I mean, let it just be like in business. You open a company, I open a company, let's compete. If my company succeeds and becomes dominant in Kenya, let me get the benefits of that dominance because of the way maybe I treat my passengers or I treat my customers.
Right.
But it shouldn't be that, you know, there shouldn't be these restrictions.
Thank you.
Actually, Dibal,
we need to go home.
The two-party system has failed in UK. It has failed in France. It is failing in the US. That's why you have these nationalist parties emerging. Because people are dissatisfied.
Fantastic. Thank you. Let's leave it at that. I won't even give you maybe just a 30-second closing remarks. We begin with Okongo Mogeni. Yeah, your closing remarks. 30 seconds.
Me, I hope,
my director is pounding me out of the...
Sorry. I thought we would have touched a line. I hope IBC, I saw IBC put an advert in the newspaper attracting an international bid on how to run elections. I really hope they will incorporate technology so that we get our results real time, even on our phones. You know, what is so hard, if the polling station closes at 6, you count the ballots, you know, the votes for each candidate, and you send me a text. You know, the first elections in the US for George Washington, the results came out after 3 days. Nowadays, it takes hours. You know, in 3 hours after they close voting, you will know who is the president. So I think for us to have transparent, free, fair elections, let us have technology incorporated. You close the voting, count, take the numbers of all of us. In all the polling stations in my constituency, send me my results to my phone.
Fantastic.
My closing remarks is that this nation is a great nation. And where we are is not where we were a few years ago. In manufacturing, in education, in agriculture, even in electoral reforms, and in the freedoms we have. We've taken some steps. I believe Dr. William Ruto has also pushed the wheel. Yani, he has pushed to the greatest of his capacities. And that's why I think, and I know the next person, I hope we will get after 2027, after he does his next 5 years, in 2032, we will equally get another guy who will push the wheel. This country is great. And actually speaking from Pan-African perspective, Kenya is really respected. And despite whatever people say, like whatever this other deputy president, former talks, we are a good nation and we are heading somewhere.
Because he's holding me out.
No, it's okay. It's okay. We go. It's okay.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you coming this evening. And of course, this conversation is getting sweeter and sweeter, but time is really running low on us. And by the way, you know, Okongo Mogeni was in the NADCO committee. And you're talking about the political parties committee, commission, yeah, that was being given an idea there. So he was there, right? But I don't want to.
He will answer for his sins.
He will answer.
I think we proposed.
We need to go. Independent. Fantastic. All right, thank you, gentlemen. I really do appreciate what a trenchant discussion we've had this evening. And thank you for your valued company. You've been watching Prime Time of TV47 Prime Time, and this has been The Insight. Good night.
TV, your favorite pay TV just got even better. Effective 1st March 2020.